Control of all. There you go. He's control of knobs and buttons.
I see it out there. I see it working. So
I see something. Let me see if it tagged me. Oh, I got notified.
yeah,
Hey,
Gabe, you should get notified too.
Gabe,
Yeah.
Got it. I give it a like. We're gonna LBC it. LBC it, Gabe.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this out.
Yeah, listen in. Listen in. Gabe. We got all right.
All right, I'm in. I'm done.
Awesome. Treviso. Perfect. All right. They wanted to make your last name Trevino, like Lee Trevino.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot growing up. Some
That's
people
exciting.
would just call me that, regardless. Yeah, they'd be like,
That would be all right.
Trevino.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right.
That's my wife gets that. She her name is Lisa, so she's Lisa Hamilton, and people want to call her Linda Hamilton far more than than she would have expected.
With our name, everybody's like my wife's name, Renee. They say like Renee Jean what?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You get the double first. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, most of the people that I've never met always think I'm a woman until I show up or they talk to me on the phone and they're like, I have stories about that's a post. I'm going to talk about that.
It's how I knew one of my former business partners, was a like habitual bald-faced liar, because I said that we were talking about hiring an intern.
Yeah.
And I said, I just did an episode about that. My friend Shannon has hired a bunch of interns. And so here, go listen to this episode. Like, there's some great stuff in there. And like a half hour later, they wrote me back and they're like, this was amazing. Like, how did you meet her?
Oh, I've had it. I could tell you.
And it was like, I know you didn't listen to the episode. Like what? And this was but the tip of the iceberg. I wish I had ripcorded that day from the business, because it probably would have saved me from a lawsuit. But there you go.
Okay. Lawsuits are tuition.
Lawsuits are tuition. Oh man.
change my phrase. So
gosh. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's not as awesome as you think.
No. Well, when they're after years later.
Yeah, years later. Like today, it's actually fun. It actually, you know what? It was tuition. It absolutely was, because without that lesson and without the things that I learned from that disaster of a business, I wouldn't have asked the right questions coming into one of the businesses I'm in now that has changed my financial future forever.
That's great. Yeah, see? So
you're right.
You're stacking it up over your lifetime.
Man.
We should
do an episode on this. Yeah,
we should.
Let's do the second episode on it. I can talk about that. Yeah.
Sounds great.
The confidentiality portion of the lawsuit, the settlement, I just need to navigate around those things. But yeah. All right. Then let's do the show as it were. Here we go. This is 541 that we're doing now, right? Yes. And I didn't spell your name wrong. I got it right. Yeah. Okay, great. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 541 for Wednesday, April 17th, National Crawfish Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or six, we dissect it, we crunch it, we analyze it so that each of us gets the opportunity to tune our business brains every single episode we get together. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still out here in Lafayette, California. I'm Shannon Jean. And if you're watching the live stream, you'll notice a third video stream up there today. We've got a guest, and happy to have Gabe Treviso with us today. I met Gabe not too long ago, a few months ago.
Huh.
Right, Gabe? Is it?
It feels like years, but it's been a couple weeks.
It does, yeah. But thanks for, that's it's been a few weeks.
In a good way.
In a good way, that's right.
That was my next question was,
yeah.
Do we need to end it here? Like,
thanks for listening, folks.
That's right.
Yeah. But Gabe, thanks for coming on the show. Really happy to have you. I know our listeners will be happy and interested to hear about your background. It's pretty cool.
Honored. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, okay. So I met Gabe as part of a growth group up on the X platform. We're all building something up there that I think is pretty exciting. Gabe, give us listeners a background on what you're doing. I know you're involved in various businesses and kind of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. I often think about it. I am involved in quite a bit of businesses. I think to bring it back to when I started, I started a real estate appraisal company back in 2012. And with that, I grew it into a smaller real estate firm, appraisal firm. But I always had the entrepreneurial itch, and I always had like the dreamer mind and like problem solving, and it was always around like the product side of stuff. So even as a kid growing up, I had a mom who really encouraged like that artistic side, as far as like, oh yeah, that's great. Like you can,
It's cool.
Yeah, you want to invent this? Like, what about? She was just always like very hands on with like, oh yeah, you can do that. Like, try this. So that was cool. So I always had that growing up, and then when I finished college, I graduated from Arizona State, not really knowing what I was going to do. I thought I wanted to be a firefighter. That was kind of what I thought I was going to do. But I fell into real estate appraisals, which is very niche. And that was like 2006 when the market was going crazy, right? So it was easy to fall into it. It was good. It was good money. Newly married. It was just something that I kind of fell into. Learned a lot about real estate. And then I started my own company, like I said, in 2012 or so, ran that. It wasn't until like 2018 to where I was able to actually get into a product business. And that's where Suds to Go came from, the company that I took on to Shark Tank.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have product business background, anything like that. Other than just the background I shared with you, as far as being a dreamer as a kid and wanting to invent something and having ideas. But in 2000, I think it was like 18, we had just had our fourth kid. So young parents, I think we had 4 under 6 at that time, 4 under 7. So we were crazy busy.
Yeah, you were buried. Yeah.
Yep. And we were at the point of our lives where like we had these little kids and they're just like germ magnets. And like we realized that, hey, like when one of them gets sick, like all 4 get sick. And it's not like simultaneously. It's like over a period of like a month. Oh, yeah. And the house is just sick and everybody's miserable. Nobody's sleeping. So we became more aware of like, hey, like let's keep our hands clean and maybe our kids won't get sick as much. So we kind of were geared towards that mindset, and we kept finding ourselves in situations where we couldn't wash our hands for various reasons. The bathroom's far away at the park. Maybe there's no bathroom at all. It's a porta john, whatever it is. Sure. But then any parents out there that are listening with kids or young kids, the problem is like you load them into your car and they want to eat, right? Like right away they get back in the car and they're like, it's snack time. I want to eat.
Yeah.
Right. So you give them food and then like they're eating with dirty hands. They're getting sick. So that's the backstory of Suds to Go. So we went to a party at a park. And same ordeal. Like the kids were playing. It was time for pizza. The bathroom was way too far away. And they had hand sanitizer. And I remember having my little 4-year-old with me, and they put the hand sanitizer on his hands, and he rubbed his hands together, and his hands were just like brown with like wet dirt.
Oh, nice.
And then pizza time. And I'm like, there's no way that's working.
Yeah.
So if the funny thing is, we're not like people automatically are like, you're the biggest germaphobe. And I mean, I was never a germaphobe, but this kind of problem led me to like this concept of, hey, we left that party and my wife's like, go on Amazon, go on Google, find us a mobile hand washing system. That's what we need. We need to be able to wash our hands anywhere we go. Okay, I can do that. So I go on Amazon, nothing. I go on Google, nothing. And so my brain automatically is like, ooh, light bulb, like
ding,
hey,
ding, opportunity knocks.
That's right.
Opportunity. And I'd already like given her, my wife, 30 different ideas, over the first
For
couple
products?
years in there. And she's like, no, that's stupid. No, that's stupid. No, it's dumb. So I brought this one to her and she's like, I'd buy that. Let's do it. Well, there it is. Yeah, let's do it, right? It sounds a lot easier than what it was. It was
Come on, don't tell us
what? You're telling me that just because you had an idea, you weren't like instantly wealthy? The idea itself wasn't worth something? That seems crazy to me.
No, I like how Shannon likes to talk about tuition, and the tuition paid on Suts to Go for me was crazy because so like I said, never done it before, don't have a product background. I have an idea. It seems simple, right? It just seems like a simple idea. But the fact that it's never been out there lends its own difficulties.
Yeah, it's like you have to educate people, right?
Education is super expensive.
Yeah.
Education is expensive as can be. But not only that, like to go from idea to concept is crazy in itself. Like, the process is you work with design engineers, you work with patent attorneys, you work with, you're working with those two types of people. They're very expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say everybody along the way is taking money out of your pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many iterations of the product to begin with to go to, it's to where you go from an idea to that bottle right there. That was our first product. That was the first bottle that we took on Shark Tank.
Nice.
And we later came out with the attachable refillable caps that I think you were showing. Yeah, those things.
Yeah, most of our listeners are listeners, and so won't be seeing the video. But we'll put a link to both the Amazon page and the product page here in the show notes at businessbrain.show, so you can see. But yeah, there's the first product that you have. It's a pump that's like the size of a large water bottle, and then there's an attachment that goes on an actual water bottle. So yeah.
So we had a couple different concepts. So just to go from there, it was like a 14 month, multiple 6-figure investment.
Wow.
On my end, to go from idea to like getting our first, shipment of product here. But the crazy thing is, like, we get our first bottles. I think we had 4,000 of them land January of 2020.
Wow.
A mobile hand washing system, January of 2020. So COVID hit, right around that same time.
Oh yeah.
And they sold.
Was that a good thing for you or a bad thing for you? Right? I could see COVID taking this either way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was both. Like it was both. I mean, we sold. The whole idea was like, hey, we got this product. We got 4,000 of these original bottles. My wife was going to sell those on the side as a side business.
Yep.
And if we sold them in a year, we were going to be happy.
That's cool.
Well, COVID hit and we sold them in 4 weeks.
Wow.
And things went crazy. Shark Tank came calling.
So did they contacted you or you reached out? Give us some background on how
so like experience. Right away, so Shark Tank is a whole. So Shark Tank being my mind of being like, hey, like I love invention. I love new ideas. I love concepts. So Shark Tank. So I'm like Shark Tank fanboy back in the day. I watched every episode. I loved the show. I loved it. So the idea of being on Shark Tank was a dream. So in 2018 or 19, when I first created the concept, right away we launched an Instagram page, and I started like reaching out to their executive producer on IG. And she was responsive, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. Like, where are you selling it?" "Oh, I'm not selling it yet. It's just a concept." Like, and she's like, that's not really what Shark Tank wants. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So throughout the next year or so, when we went from idea to concept, and we started selling, I kind of dropped it because we were so busy with selling it because of COVID driving the sales. I didn't even think about Shark Tank. And then so we got a DM in our IG page saying, "Hey, like, have you submitted an application this season for Shark Tank yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And she was like, "Yeah, you really should." So I mean, they reached out and we did the process, and it's pretty extensive.
Yeah.
And then we went through the process and we were able to pitch in, I think it was August of 2020 was when we actually went to Vegas and we pitched season 12.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And was it the experience that you thought you would have? We're just talking about going and doing the show after watching it for all these years.
Yeah.
Was it similar to that? What you had thought?
So the way I look at it now is like there's Shark Tank, the show, and then there's Shark Tank, the producing team and stuff. Like the experience of being on Shark Tank was amazing. I mean, I would do it again and again and again.
Yeah,
right?
That's cool.
Are you saying that there's Shark Tank, the show that we all see, and then there's Shark Tank, the business that sort of happens underneath that, and the show might just be the tip of the iceberg? Is that kind of a good way to see it? Okay.
Yeah. I think what I used to think of Shark Tank was, hey, this is an opportunity for emerging entrepreneurs, emerging product businesses, or whatever it might be, to go in, pitch to investors who are going to be that are going to get their hands dirty in your business, right? Like they're going to actually help you. They're going to want to help build something with you side by side. Because that's what you see in most of the episodes. That's what you see in like the redos and stuff like that.
Yep.
That wasn't my experience, and
so you did get a deal though, right? From Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we got multiple offers. We got an offer from Damon, and then we took the deal from Robert.
Okay.
And so we were all excited, right? I mean, if you watch our episode, like Robert was like, if I can sell $100 million worth of ugly sweaters, I can sell $100 million of this. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
those are big numbers.
Right.
Those are big numbers. That's a big promise, right? And I think, looking back now, I always thought that Shark Tank, when I found out I was going to be on Shark Tank, I thought, oh, we made it, right? We made it.
That's what I would think. That's what I would think immediately.
Right? That's what
for a product business, I would think so. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
People still have that perception, but the coolest thing that came out of it is like, when I look at Shark Tank now, I look at it as like the first step of where I'm going. Because I feel like that gave me like so much confidence and like knowledge, intuition, to learn and grow, right? Like, so sure. I don't want to jump ahead, but like as far as product businesses now I'm working on 3 other startups that are wrapped around product. And now I know the steps, you know what I mean? Now I know the steps. I kind of know what to do and who to go to. And besides that, I have a lot of good relationships with other Shark Tank companies to where like, hey, I need a sales guy in this, or you guys have walked this path with your product. It's not anywhere nothing like Suds to Go, so that wouldn't help me there. But
so how did you make those connections? Just is there like groups that form of people that have been on the show,
support groups for former Shark Tankers?
Yeah.
So the coolest thing that ever came out of Shark Tank for me was when we got out of Shark Tank. There's a private Facebook group, and it's only founders only that have stepped on the carpet and pitched. So
that's cool.
That's all it is. So there's like, I don't know, maybe 200 and something people in there. But everybody, like our growth groups on X, like everybody is willing and helpful because they understand your path. I mean, they understand the struggle, how hard it is.
Yeah.
So everyone's looking out for each other. They want to help each other. So I always tell people like that's the greatest thing that came out of Shark Tank for us is that group because
it's terrific.
Just like anything else, it's networking.
Yes. Yeah. And it's cool. I mean, the value in that is potential value, right? Like you then have to take advantage of it just like everything else in our lives, right? It's like this, it's not like you walked into that group and it was like, oh, here's everything handed to you. Like that's not how it works. Right. No. But you have this network and people who, that shared crisis and crisis might or might not be the right word, but that shared experience, that shared tuition, if you will, puts you in a different category when you're in that category, right? When you're hanging with your neighbors, they don't care. But when you, oh no, I've been there. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yes,
credibility, right?
Credibility in the right scenario. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're still doing Suds to Go. You've got some other stuff going on. Um, Talk to me about how you manage your time, because we did a show on this last week that kind of was that got what the instigator was a discussion that I had with you and the other guys in our growth group about, hey man, I can't be on my phone doing this all day or answering. When you have a viral post, and you've had quite a few on X, when you've got 200,000-300,000 million views, you're just inundated with stuff. So how do you manage your time so you don't go nuts?
Oh man, if I showed you my desk,
why do you think I have this curtain behind me?
I mean, I have this. People laugh at, like, I and my wife would probably not laugh, but I find peace in the chaos. So like when my life is like busy, and I don't like to use the word busy, when I have a lot of stuff.
Yes, we like to use the word productive here.
Yeah. When I have a lot of projects going on, I feel like I'm more productive. So I've had to learn. I mean, I'm in the process finally, and this is like what's awesome about X is, as of 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, I used X primarily just to post about sports, post about just stupid stuff that doesn't really matter. Like, I wasn't trying to build anything on X. Once I started to actually focus on hey, X is a networking tool. I've learned so much, and I've met so many great people, and not only great people, but great business minds. And even to the point where, one of those ideas that I'm working on right now is with somebody on X that has great abilities and skills. So, and that's just in a few months, right? So to get back to your question about how do you organize or what do you do, through X, I also met Parker Cox, who has, there's a lot of guys that have offshore placement companies. Well, through him, I was able to connect with him and get on his network. And I'm going to be adding she's a very high-end executive assistant. I hate to call her that because I think her skills are a lot.
Chief of staff.
Yeah, chief of staff. That's the word that we use.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because her background is in operations and procedures and all that sort. So my idea is that she's going to help me organize my brain, making me that much more powerful, effective, efficient, all those things.
Yeah,
I think that's terrific. It's always a challenge, and I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and jump on a bunch of calls, and everyone, learning that or adopting some sort of system that keeps you or allows you to disconnect, go back into the house and be with your kids, all that kind of stuff. All three of us here talking right now, we all have separate structures at our home that allow us to disconnect and walk out to another place. And that is just a huge
it was
benefit.
Easier before I had an iPhone. It was more effective before I had an iPhone.
Oh yeah, of course, because you got your phone in your pocket all the time.
Yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
You're right.
I was thinking about that earlier today. That we've been in this house almost 19 years, and so the iPhone has not existed that long. It's there used to be a better separation between the house and the office than there is now. But I mean, it's fine. I manage it, but it's just I am aware of this particular truth. So
yeah, that's great. Okay, so I always say this: mistakes are tuition, and so I'm always interested in talking to people and asking them. And maybe it makes me feel better because I've made so many mistakes. But if I asked you, okay, what is the best mistake you think you've ever made that really taught you an important lesson, something that you've turned into, fuel or for your, yourself, or just something that stuck with you? What would you say?
That's a good question. I think I look at when you're asking, I'm thinking about my different businesses, and I think there's different high cost lessons in each of them. If we're talking about Suds to Go, I think not setting up foundation was the biggest issue with that company, and is still the biggest issue that I'm still figuring it out.
Like operations and stuff, that kind of thing, or
Operations, foundations. I think, when Dave asked, was COVID good or bad for it? And I said both. That's an honest answer because I feel like, we grew at such a fast, rapid rate. I wasn't able to like put in foundational operations, and this is how we do this. This is how let's test this out. Let's see what works here. Let's see what doesn't work. Everything was.
But would you do that with a new business? Like, I get it. When you start to grow, you wish you had better foundations. I mean, that's certainly been true of me with, I think, every single business I've ever had. But if I look back and I say, okay, if I put in because you don't need all the foundations, but you need the one that you need. And you don't get to know which one that is until it's too late. But if you put in everything, would you ever get your business off the ground? Yeah. Like, would you, that's always, and I asked that question because I've convinced myself that it's better to just shoot first, ask questions later, right? Build the airplane while you're trying to land it. And that's a stressful scenario and it's not always successful. But
right.
If you try to build the perfect airplane before it ever takes off, well, you got to have a lot of runway, to mix our metaphors.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you, and I'm definitely the type to put an iteration out there and then perfect after.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, and that's what I do too. I just think, rapid growth, it can be difficult. It can be
For
really
sure.
difficult to navigate, and I feel like, and even like with Subs to Go, inventory purchasing, we purchased too much to the point where it crippled cash flow. So there's certain things that we did because we were trying to project rapid growth to where if we didn't have it, I feel like I would have managed it a lot better.
Now,
which I will in turn take
next.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Better
you'll
preparation.
have that experience. Yeah. I think the takeaway for me when I listen to your story is the keep going part. It's that, okay, we tried something, maybe it didn't go exactly as we planned, but we look at all these talents, we added it to our talent stack, and now when I do it again, I think so many people stop, and they're just like, that didn't work out. You just hear it over and over. That business, we tried to start a business and it didn't work out because of XYZ. It's like, okay, well, did you go to the next business or did you do the next product? That momentum and times, there's a country song that I love, and the something along the lines of when you're going through hell, just don't slow down, right? You have to just keep moving. And I can remember my wife reminding me of that when we were just going through dark times and struggling. She's like, "Well, you just have to keep moving. You can't stop because you'll just be here. So you got to get to the other side, even if it's doesn't work out perfectly, which it probably never will." But all those things you learn now, they're going to make you so much more effective the next time you do it, for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Tuition.
Yeah.
Tuition,
dude.
Yeah.
I use it every day.
Yep. It's how we justify paying for things. You just call it that. It's like, all right, great. Now, but that reframing is what you need to keep going. You have that failure. You're like, well, I screwed that up. I'm never going to try that again. No, you got to learn.
Try it again.
Definitely try it again. Yes. You won't do that same mistake twice. You will do a different mistake, but that's fine. Yeah.
And I think that's honestly, I think that is the biggest separator though, too. I think most people, when given a reason to quit, they're going to quit.
Yep.
Yes.
So, you just don't know what's on the other side. So if I don't know. I just feel like if you're pushing through to push through, to see what's on the other side, then you're not going to quit, right? So that curiosity too is also a driving force in what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yep.
At least for me, it is. And I feel like a lot of people, it's not easy, to read it on X and to see it on X and hey, this person's doing this and they're posting, they're doing $300,000 a month in this. It's easy. Nothing's easy.
No.
Everything, nothing is easy. So if it sounds easy, it's not. And nothing is true until it's true.
Yeah. And you mentioned driving force. I want to ask you one question before we wrap up. One of the things you've done with like your brand, you talked about being a dad a lot and a husband and your family. And I love that. How okay, other than building followers, which we're all, we're kind of in the thick of it right now, but how does that drive you and how is that integrate into your brand of what you're doing?
When I started trying to find my place in X, a multifaceted, I have a lot of business experience in different fields, which is great. But there's a lot of guys that do that, right? I mean, you can look through X and there's a lot of dudes that are great business dudes. And there's a lot of dudes that are great dads. I just think for me, I wanted to focus on what I'm most passionate about. And that's what I'm most passionate about. I mean, besides my businesses, which I'm busy doing, my weekends are revolved around my kids. My mornings, I come and work very early so I can get stuff done so I can be over there in the morning. Afternoon sports. I mean, just that's what my life is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I want to be where I'm about when you boil it down at the core, and that's what it is. I mean, businesses are cool, but my family is it.
Yeah. We had a question, I think that's great. We had a question in the chat of how you plan to use this chief of staff position. How is that person? How will you integrate them into this? Planned chaos that you kind of described earlier.
Yeah. So I mean, and so I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but basically, I have a number of. So I have my 4 guys that work for my appraisal company. I need to integrate communications between the teams. I need to integrate invoicing. So some of that stuff is what she'll help develop the procedures for. But there's a lot of work to do because that company is built strictly on word of mouth. I have no website presence, so there's a lot of things that she's going to work on as far as building out emails to current clients. So it's low hanging fruit. Doing outreach, doing SEO, doing stuff. And she might not be doing all that stuff. She might be managing the people doing it. But together, we're going to build out a plan to stabilize my appraisal company. Once that's stabilized, I'll probably add on a few other people below her that'll help build out the rest of my companies. That's the long-term idea. Now, whether or not I can execute it, to be determined. But yeah, so her coming on board right now is more of just like chief of staff. Like she's going to be my right there with me until we figure this out. So
yeah, I think.
And is this a remote? Like, is this somebody here in the U.S. that you're hiring as a chief of staff? Or is it?
She's remote. Yeah.
Offshore is something. Offshore, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I think the key, one of the key things you said is that how she's not responsible to do everything, but she's managing all these other things that we need SEO. We need to build a website out. So rather than you having to be the point person with the web developer or with an SEO person, you'll be like, oh, I'll have so-and-so reach out to you and she'll manage. She manages that relationship. And that's important. And I think that's where that holds people back from hiring this type of role often because they think, well, I got to find somebody that knows how to do SEO and this and that and that. No,
you need somebody to take that responsibility off your plate and give them a budget and let them do it. Because you were going to give yourself a budget to do it. Just give them the budget. Let them do it. Report back to you. Yeah.
And especially and that's why I really like Pavago.
What's this? Pravago? Say this again?
Yeah, Pavago, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Parker Cox's company.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's great is I was able to interview her. I was able to, interview as many people as I needed to. I interviewed her because they provided an interview of her to me that they did on Zoom. And so when I interviewed her, I was able to ask her those specific questions, right? And to ask her, like, how would you handle this situation? And how would, what would you do in this situation? Because I wanted to be very clear, like, I'm not going to be holding your hand. I need somebody who's strong in operations and also strong as a strong self-starter, because I can give you the idea of like, hey, this is what we need to do. We need to develop a program where my team can chat together. We need to develop a program to keep my clients updated on orders. That's what I'm going to give her to do. And then she's going to either, sink or swim. But I think she's going to swim because I was able to kind of quiz her on that. And she had good ideas already. So obviously, I haven't gone this route, but I'm hopeful and I'm confident it's going to work out.
Yeah.
You have the right mindset. And I think I love this agency model where, they're pre-screening for people and you're answering a ton of questions about what exactly do you need help with, so they can kind of give you, we've hired, hundreds of people. We know the type of person.
Exactly.
And, so they're kind of, you're not going on, some platform on your own and just randomly.
I've tried that. Yeah, I tried that.
It's a little more difficult. I've done it too.
It is. I will say we used a service like this for something completely different, not for a chief of staff thing, but we've used a service like this before. And what we've found is that they do bring in fantastic, qualified, driven candidates, and they're awesome for about 2 years. Wow. And at that point, what we found, one of them had 3 full-time jobs at that point. Another one was doing a different thing. But it was fine because the 2 years up to that was great. And so what we've learned is to sort of track how we have trained these people. So if and when we need to go back to the agency, it was not Pavago. We used a different agency. We used the folks at HireSmart that we interviewed on the show here, Shannon.
That's right.
Years ago. Yeah. And we went back to them and we're like, this person did work out. They are no longer working out. We need you to help us replace them because you're paying the company a fee, I assume, every month for this too. And they were super responsive. They're like, well, can we work to try and solve it with them first? And with one of them, we were like, yes. And with another, we were like, nope, it's an unsolvable thing. Like the trust is gone. But they were like, okay, no problem. And we had kind of a punch list of, all right, here's what we need from this person that we'd added to from when we went through what you're going through, selecting the candidate. So keep revising that so that I'm not saying you will wind up in this, but I'm pretty sure you will. But just be ready for it, and you'll be totally fine because you'll have Pavago on your side to take you through this. Yep. You just know that it's different than it's a different mindset, a cultural mindset of the employee when you're hiring them remotely versus here in the U.S. That's all.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's good.
It's not bad. It just kind of is,
Yes.
Right.
And tuition. So there you go. It looks
like we can't send comments back to X for whatever reason, but we're getting some questions. I'll put them in the notes or the follow-up post on this that's live right now on X if you're looking for them.
Well, you could reply as Business Brain on X, Shannon. Just log in as that, and then it'll all then you can reply. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, well, Gabe, I love learning more about you. Every time we have a call, I think I connect with you even more. It's terrific. I love what you're doing, what you're building, and the fact that you're focused and you're driven by your family. I've used that same framework for decades, and it really paid off. So thank you again for coming on the show, man.
No, thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for what's that?
I said thank you for your time. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for your time, folks who are listening. Thank you for your time. Feedback at businessbrain.show. That's where you can get in touch with us. You can also find us on X at BizBrain Show and all the socials, of course. We appreciate your time. We appreciate hearing from you, and keep on living that charmed life. That's what we're all about here. And enjoy. We'll see you on the next episode. I don't know if we're doing one on Friday, Shannon, or if we're doing one next week.
We're doing one on Friday.
All right. There it is. Okay. We are in between episodes now.
Awesome. That's great.
So there you go.
Sweet. That was cool.
That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It's terrific to share your experience. And, you got 127, 28 people listening right now that people asking, give me this link and how did you do this? That's just super useful. And then tomorrow, we typically get about 5,000 downloads a week. So you just impact lots of people that can, would like to be where you're at, that are on their way. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing that. That's cool.
Awesome.
Very good.
It.
So yeah, man. Yeah. We will see you I'll see you in the group chat, and we'll follow up, and I'll let you know when this goes live, and you can mention it on X.
Sweet. Awesome. Have a good day, guys.
You, Gabe. All right, you too. Yeah. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Later.
All right. So now, let's see. Global. So now we're in between. Dave's fiddling with knobs and getting stuff ready that we can push it out later, and then we're going to record Friday's episode in a few minutes. Global talent. I'm posting this, and Gabe's Shark Tank product. Gabe's.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It's pretty cool. That's what attracted me, or caught my eye, I guess, at first with Gabe. Yeah. But once you start digging a little deeper, there's just a lot more there, and I brought him into my growth group on X. It's really been terrific. So I've enjoyed getting to know him. He's a great guy. Definitely want to follow him on X. He posts some really great stuff about his journey and being an entrepreneur, being a dad, and all the family, and just balancing the whole thing. We'll put his X link in the show notes at businessbrain.show. Awesome. And we got this, we got that. That's good. And then the episode we just recorded will come out live. Not live. We just recorded it live. Will come out tomorrow.
Only live once.
Only live once. Damn. I wish you could do that. That'll come out tomorrow. It'll push out on all the podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. So if you'll see it in your podcast app, or you can go to businessbrain.show and listen to it. If you have questions for Gabe, feedback at businessbrain.show, or if you think there's a topic that we should discuss, or if you want to come on the show, talk about your business, your experience, something that you learned, we would certainly love to talk with you. That'd be great.
Cool.
And what are we going to talk about Friday? We're going to do this stacking up of, or do you have another topic? I have an intro topic.
Failure stacking?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I want to ask you. It can either be on this Friday episode that we're going to do or next week, but I want to ask you for your top. You're growing followers on X like crazy. I want to ask you for your top 3, top 5 things to do that, because you've clearly gained some expertise on this.
Yeah, we're going to do that Friday as the intro, and then we can talk about stacking up.
Failure stacking.
Failure stacking. Yeah, that sounds great.
I love this idea of failure stacking. No, I'm into this. Yep. Yeah. All right.
You pick it up. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Then here. Oh, no, it's not April 12th on Friday, is it?
No.
It's the 19th.
You got it. 542 episode.
Yeah. That part I got right. I didn't get the part about the 19th. The 19th being right there. All right. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 542 for Wednesday. No, not Wednesday. Casual Friday, April 19th. Sylvester the Cat's birthday, 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or 7, we crunch it, we dissect it, we analyze it so that we can each use those ideas and the outcomes of those dissections to tune our business brains together. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
Here in Lafayette, California, I'm Shannon Jean. I'm ready to tune, man.
Let's tune. All right, you can help us all tune, because you started the year with like 14 followers on X, and now, actually, I haven't looked today. I'm going to look right now to get a number. You are at 5,682 followers on X, and these are real followers. I mean, I know there's some bots out there, of course.
Yeah,
like
always.
That's
but they
fine.
Flush them out every couple weeks.
Yeah. But like the majority of, I can look at your posts and see people interacting, and these aren't bots interacting with like generic responses. the people that are commenting are truly reacting and responding to what you're saying. So they're either really smart AI bots that you've hired here, or they're real people. And I'm going with the latter. And I've seen both sides of this, right? Like
sure.
I feel pretty good, feel pretty confident saying that you've attracted in the last 3 months, you've attracted basically all of these people other than like me and the BizBrain Show
that's
X
right.
account.
When I started,
so I'm curious how, like, for anyone looking to build their following on X, although my guess is that at least some of these lessons would be sort of generic to any social media platform. What would you say are the top 3 to 5 key things that have helped you do this?
I think that's great. I think that the first thing is get involved in a group. Find people that are building like you are and ask them to be in a group with you.
So this would be a we would call this a follower building group for
growth group. It's growth. And what it if you get the right group, it turns out it's not just about followers, it's actually business, right? We're building, so it expands out, and you meet, like we just had Gabe, Treviso on.
Right.
I met him in a group, and getting involved. Like I had 30 followers on X for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I had an account for today, and in January I had spent a couple of months really grinding my way to 500. Very difficult, just not making much progress at all.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
I had a couple of people, and I can't take credit for it. They reached out to me. Hey, would you like to be? Let's start a chat. You want to help each other? Da 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 da.
Yep.
Just hey, what works for you? What doesn't? How's this going? And so I'm in a couple of groups, one of which Gabe is in, and we talk every day, so we do a weekly call. I posted about it up on my account. You can just go find me on X or Twitter, Shannon Jean.
Yeah, he's Shannon Jean on X. Yep.
Yeah. And I took a snapshot of our weekly call and I posted it today. I'm like, this is the number one secret is you don't do it alone, because it's so much more difficult and there's so many more people that want to work with you. So if you're starting out, do find some folks that are right around where you are, but then also try to bring in somebody maybe that's got twice as many followers, 1,000 or something like that, and attract some. Hey, would you like to help? We'll do this. We'll do that, and that help is mainly asking for feedback and everything else, but it's also, hey guys, I just did this post. What do you think? You can go up, you make a comment, you like it. Maybe you bookmark it, and so you're trying to give it a little boost to push it out there.
That initial boost.
Yeah.
So the group, the value of the group, the values of the group are many. One of them is, in a sense, and correct me if I'm interpreting this wrong, but hacking or goosing, leveraging the algorithm out there to kind of lift one another as you post to the group. Okay,
that's right.
All right,
and
that makes sense. Sure.
And the comments are that you're asking for is authentic. Go post what you think of this, not tell me here and then go say this. Right? No, you're really saying oh, I've never heard
this kind of sucks
concept before.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Or
that's
do this,
fine.
do that. Yeah, and also helping before you post, hey, what do you think of this intro? Or what do you think of? Should this be a thread or should this be a long post?
Yep.
What do you like? I learned if you have less than 1,000 followers, one of the most important things, so this would be number 2.
Yes.
Is spend more time in the comments than you do posting posts, because no one is going to see your posts. The
spend
algorithm,
more time in the comments of other people's posts. Ah, okay.
Right?
So that might actually be number 1.
Maybe
if we're because you want to grow, but I see the group actually being an important thing.
The group's important.
Okay.
That's where I learned that. That's where I learned this tip.
Got it.
Okay, so I wouldn't have known it had I not met these people that said, "Oh, I heard this and I read this and I'm using this thing." So that's 2, but you want to find certain accounts that are in your niche. So if you're a real estate person, I'm in the small business or entrepreneurial space.
Sure.
What accounts have a lot of followers? You should go turn on notifications for those accounts. And when they post, you should try to be in the top 5 first responders.
Yes.
So you get your name out there.
these are the tricks I wanted. Yeah, I love this.
And but you need to add value. You can't just post cool.
Yeah,
that
crap.
looks great idea. That's nothing.
No.
So you want to if it's something you can add value to, like it, and go, hey, you know what? This worked great for me, or I did it this way, or whatever. Something
something that adds whatever
value.
Yeah.
Furthers the conversation.
It continues the conversation. That's really the value is continuing Don't
the
conversation.
Don't be a troll. If you disagree, think about, is this maybe I shouldn't comment on this post if I disagree, right?
Be positive then.
Or if you can defend it, just say, I tried that and it didn't work, but this worked for me. That's
yes.
okay.
Oh, that's totally positive.
That's okay.
Right.
But
okay.
Like that. And then as you grow, one of the most important things is you need to develop an alter ego, because you're going to attract the trolls and they're going to hassle you. And someone's going to say you're an idiot, or you don't know what you're talking about, all this kind of crap.
Yep.
And you don't want to take it personally, because it's not personal. They don't even know who you are, right? So we did a whole show about the alter ego effect.
So you're not saying to create a sock profile, a sock profile. You're saying in your head, use this alter ego as the defense mechanism.
Correct.
Against the troll. I get. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Okay.
Top athletes.
It's your thick skin. The alter ego is your thick skin.
Yeah. Well, like if you read about Beyonce, she has an alter ego named Sasha Fierce.
Yes.
And she says, that's not me on the stage.
Right.
That's Sasha Fierce. So you build a layer in between of, you're building a kind of a persona. It's who you are. You want to be authentic. Very important. You are like Gabe.
Yeah, but it's a slice of who you are.
Correct.
It's not
a glimpse.
It's a glimpse. Yeah, I got it.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Okay.
So that has helped. That's helped me a lot.
We do that on the show too.
Of course.
We're authentic here, but this isn't the entirety of who we are. It's a glimpse.
Same kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, for me, it's been having fun with it. I've said this for 10 years on the show. I want to have a good time. The reason why Dave is my co-host for 10 years, because we laugh at every show.
Yeah,
either at something we did together, some mistake I made. But I made this comment the other day. If I jump on a call with you and I don't laugh out loud during that first call, the chances of us doing business are probably, are not probably, it's slim to none.
Same. It's got to be fun.
It's got to be fun, and because it gives you energy, man.
Yeah,
it comes back, and I love it. So I mean, those are the things that I would focus on at the beginning. Be yourself. I often say it's authenticity plus serendipity that makes you successful. And then,
but that's really it. Like, there's no, there's no, like other procedural tricks that have allowed you to grow your following. Like that really is it.
Volume posting. So I've posted, if you look at let me go see what I'm at today. Okay. So I've made 10,500 posts.
Wow. And most of those, I would say, 80% or more of those have been in the last 3 months, right?
Yeah, but a post is also a reply, right? In a comment, that kind of thing. So and then I'll leave you with this. So I have, I don't know, 50. I'll be at 5,700 followers by the end of the day.
Okay.
Half of those came on 2 posts out of 10,500.
Oh.
Okay. So we're talking about stacking up, learning, talent stack.
Yeah.
I would not have half of my followers had 2 posts out of 10,500 gone crazy. And I know exactly which 2 posts those are.
Sure. Of course you do. Yeah. You can see the stats.
Yeah. You can just look at it. And so that's it. That's where the serendipity part comes in. You get a big account that reposts something you did. It's once it starts taking off quickly, it grows and grows and grows, and you watch, you're like, holy smokes, man, this is going to be. It's not what you think. You're going to create what you think is the most valuable post, and it's just going to lie there dead. And you're like, why doesn't anybody like this? And then
doesn't matter.
Like I had a guy in my group, Tyler, great guy. He posts a joke about the Costco hot dog, and it went to 1.5 million views.
Of course,
and he probably picked up 300-400 followers. So it's value and virality.
Virality, and volume.
Yeah, and we had a guy talk in our growth group that came in Chris Munn is his name, and he said, you should be about 70% value and maybe 30% virality. So, and have fun with it. I post pictures of, trees in my yard that I think look beautiful. And then I post stuff I'm doing and work I'm working on. People build in public up there. And, so, and if you're trying to grow up there or on LinkedIn or you want to connect, reach out. I'd be glad to give you some tips.
Amazing. Thank you for that. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, it all makes, the nice part about it is that it all makes sense.
There is a system.
No, I get that there's a system, and my guess is, and you've sort of said this, that consistency, don't go dark for a week and a half.
Bullheaded persistence, just like that's your favorite term.
That is my favorite term.
I'm going to grow. You get some momentum, right? Going.
Yeah.
But the first 1,000 is a grind.
Yeah.
A grind. Yeah. I mean, first 1,000 is a grind.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've never worked to build my following anywhere. But
you produce great content that people value,
and then they follow me,
and they follow you.
Correct.
That's it.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
But if
I wasn't doing that,
if I actually worked on my following, I could probably 10x it pretty quickly.
You could definitely 10x it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because you have like 7,000 followers or something like that.
It's been as high as 8 on X, but then they do their purges of bots and things like that. So I think I'm about 6,000 or something, maybe 7 or something.
That's great. As long as I'm ahead of you pretty soon, I'll be fine.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I still have opportunity. You definitely have more momentum than me. There's no question about that. Yeah, I got 6,500 followers. So
and that part of it
at Dave Hamilton, folks. It's at Dave Hamilton. That's right.
That's right. Yeah, unfollow immediately.
Unfollow Shannon Jean at Dave Hamilton. Put the follow over there.
That's right. Back and forth and this kind of competitiveness, that's another big part of the group. You
I get that.
Joke around and help each other out and have a good time, kind of bust your chops. And so it's trying to make it, if you're just out there by yourself, just trying to this Chris Ryan's asking what the 2 posts were. Oh, so the first post that got it got 1.5 million views was a post about Netflix. And the post was ridiculous. I saw another post going viral from a guy named Mike Higgins, and he had made a comment that if instead of buying an iPhone every year, you had taken that money and invested in Apple stock every year, it was worth like, I don't know, $4 million, $20 million, or some crazy number.
Some amount of money, a good amount of money.
It was really taken off, and we were joking about it in the group. And I was going to a concert, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna find something that's comparable to that, because that's another kind of tip, is to get involved in something that's going viral, some concept. Yeah, the algorithm likes it. So I posted, hey, in 2008, if you had taken your family on vacation and spent $10,000, you'd have had a great vacation. But if you'd have taken that $10,000 and bought Netflix stock at $5.80, that stock in 2023 was worth $770. And I just said, you'd have, whatever it was, 2,000,008, whatever.
Yeah.
And it just, and I did it. I got in my car and drove away to this concert. I drove for like an hour, and I was like, I'm going to delete that post because that's just silly. I feel kind of dirty. I wasn't adding no value. I didn't quite understand it back then.
Yeah.
But by the time I got to an hour away, it had already had 100,000 views. And so it went to like 1.5 million, I think. And then, it went to 3 million. Sorry, what am I saying? That's my 3 million post. So 3 million views. And I think I picked up 1,000 followers for whatever reason. And the second post, I was talking about selling Costco store returns. I posted it not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. It got, about 280,000. It's my pinned post right now. It got 262,000 views, and it got some crazy amount of bookmarks. Where did it get? It got, which is another indicator. It got over 2,000 bookmarks, meaning people saved that post.
Yeah, right.
And I picked up 1,800 followers in 24 hours.
Got it. Okay, so you really are like the 50% of your followers are from these 2 exposure points, if you will.
Yeah. And so
it's interesting.
It is. And so I think what happens is that as you grow that momentum, it gets, I don't want to say easier.
Well, no, the algorithm's going to prioritize you.
Yes.
Which makes perfect sense because
Yes, it does.
For every social media platform, their goal is to keep you on the platform. So
Yes.
if they see an account or even a single post, if the algorithm sees an account or a post that is getting a lot of traction or a topic, like Twitter has their trending topics,
Yep.
then they're going to float that to the top of the feeds of people that you don't follow because they know that there's a chance that it's far more complex than that, but this all makes sense. Like, of course, they're going to highlight these things for people until they see
then it starts to go down
the crest, and then
the way
boom, you're done.
Yeah, and one of the other little tricks is always answer a question in the comments. You want to comment quickly. You want to get back in because that helps you push it out.
Yes.
But you want to end your comment with another question. So when somebody asks you what were the 2 posts, you would answer them and say, "What were your biggest 2 posts?" Because you want them to come back.
The conversation going.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get them to come back and talk and engage. That's what X wants, right?
Got it.
They want people on the platform.
Yeah, they want engagement. They want people to stay on the platform. Yeah.
Don't post links to other platforms if you want to grow because it'll just bury you because they don't want you to leave.
They don't want that.
Don't put a link to your website, your YouTube. Don't do that. Record a video and do it like we're doing.
Do it like we're doing.
Stream it on X or do whatever. But the number one thing, man, have a good time with it because I say this all the time too, but in the beginning of any venture, project, business, relationship, you're putting in all this energy. It takes a lot of energy, man. At some point, it needs to flip.
Yep.
And the project, the business, the relationship needs to start giving you energy back.
It's got to come back.
It's got to come back.
As a performer, musician, but it's true of any
like
kind
the
of
crowd,
performance. Right? Well, yeah, but you can go on stage, and sometimes it works this way, where you go on stage and the crowd is full of energy, and they just give it to you right out of the gate, or even 3 or 4 songs in, or whatever. And then that fuels you. And when that happens, that's amazing. But that's also failure, in my opinion.
Oh, why?
Because it's my job to go out and give that energy first.
To them. Oh,
right.
Okay.
They come in, presumably, the nice part about being a performer is everybody there is rooting for you to succeed, right? It's like
That's cool.
Sports. Sports is also the entertainment business, don't get me wrong. But with sports, at least, if not more, that at least half the people that are there don't want you to succeed. They want the other team to succeed.
That's a friction, right?
That's the friction, and that's the entertainment value. And I get that. I totally get that. But as like a musician, or you go play theater shows, or whatever. Everybody there comes in to be entertained, which means they're rooting for you. So you put that plant that thought in your head, and then go out and just deliver on that first song, the first whatever, and give them all the energy you possibly can. Right. And that will amplify what they're about to give back to you. Because if you don't, chances are they'll give almost nothing back to you.
Yeah, suck.
If you go out and nothing, and you haven't given anything, and 3 songs in, or even 1 song in, the crowd is roaring and they're giving it all back to you. It's like, imagine how much more they would be giving back if I had planted this seed first.
It's the law of reciprocity.
It is the law of reciprocity.
Right?
It's absolutely that.
Yeah. And it works in every aspect of your life. Your musician, your relationships.
Your relationship, everything.
Yes,
this is the entertainment business.
Yeah.
I get that. It's infotainment, but whatever. So I always try to make sure when I walk on stage, I am performing from the moment I step on stage. It's not.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not gonna play a note of music as I'm walking on stage because I got to get to my drums. I got to plug in my in-ears. I got to get my stuff together. All that doesn't matter. The performance starts right. You're being seen.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so remember that, you're performing. And I always say, one of my other favorite words to use, and this drives a lot of musicians crazy, is some. Others, not at all, but is the word costume. It's like, what's your costume for tonight? A lot of guys like to show up on stage in I'll wear my tie-dye t-shirt and my jeans. It's like, okay, or my tie-dye t-shirt and my cut-off shorts. It's like, there's a whole community of musicians that is against cargo shorts on stage. Jimmy Buffett,
yes,
rest in peace,
yes,
made that his costume. And the guy, he ended his life with a lot of success.
Yes, a lot of
success. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with cargo shorts as your costume as long as you know they are your costume and you embrace it. Don't just go like, well, I'm afraid
I wore this today.
Yeah. I wore this today and I'm just going to try and hide on stage. You're on stage. There's no hiding. I knew coming into this podcast today that I'm wearing this Hollister hoodie thing.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Conscious. Yep.
It's you got to be whether you've chosen to wear it for your performance or not. It is your costume. 100% of the time, what you're wearing or not wearing is your costume.
That is exactly advice to grow on any social platform. It's the same thing.
Yes, it's your costume.
You're on your costume. What you're posting, adding value. If you don't add value up there, no one is going to follow you. Right?
No, they want to be entertained. They want to be engaged. Yes.
Yeah, you're going to. You could be a meme account and post funny memes, and people will follow you because you're giving something.
Correct.
But you have to give first. And that's why. Trying to be in the comments a lot and responding, you're trying to engage and get in the community, and people will come to know you.
Yes.
You eventually you change your profile picture, and people will be like, "Hey, everybody
I've always
noticed
found
it." So.
Crowds are more comfortable once you engage them. Like people come to a show. There's a lot, in general, people are shy, and
of course,
and aren't comfortable just approaching strangers or whatever. But if you start the conversation with the crowd, or I found on stage with bands, starting the conversation amongst each other on stage,
getting comfortable,
bantering, with me and the lead singer or whatever, saying stupid jokes or inside jokes that you're sort of letting the crowd in on. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that then brings people, they're like, well, I want to be involved in that. It's like, yes, of course you do.
Yes,
of course. I've made this look fun, to your point.
Well, that's it. And we've actually, our group has this, group I'm in, and it's grown a lot to where we have people, asking us, can we join? Can I want to be involved in this kind of thing. So it's like, they get it. It's powerful. So, start your own group.
Start your own club. People want to be in it.
Yeah, it's great. I love talking about this. I'm always interested in talking about stuff I'm involved in.
Of course.
And new things. And here I'm building from 0 to 1 again, which I think is great.
I think it's great.
So thanks for asking. Always fun.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I've obviously watched you grow this, and maybe it's because you're getting close to my numbers that I got to get some of these secrets out of you.
Get nervous out of there. So this is definitely Dave learned the most on this episode.
I learned the most. That's right. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. And follow us on X. Follow me, Dave Hamilton, and follow him if you can find him.
Yeah.
And and follow BizBrain Show. That's really what we got to build together. Is that BizBrain Show? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Keep living that charmed life, folks, and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. And we're out. Cool.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for watching the live stream. 183 of you, 184.
This is a good one today.
It's great.
I have a question before we sign off here. We saw the real Mark Miller and Chris Ryan commented. I tried to look for their comments on X. They came in from X. They aren't there. I can't.
I know.
They would would have had to reply to the post that our show posted on X. So did they comment this and then delete it?
No. Chris Ryan, he follows me. I interact with him a bit. So Chris, post in there, send me a DM and let me know where you posted that. I think it was in the live stream, but
but the live stream is just, is there a way to comment?
Yeah. See where, if you go to X, you see live on X, you see us in the right column. It says watch. So if I don't know if there'd be some space-time continuum thing if I click in it.
Yeah.
If you click in there, I think they comment on they chat. There's a live stream chat. I'm going to show you test. Let's see. We'll learn this together. There it is. So that's where they post it. It showed up in the
All right.
test.
Wait, where are you doing this on the web? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm on the web.
Oh, okay. Hang on,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm looking. The Mac app does not have
I
any
don't
of
know,
these
yeah.
features.
I
Yeah.
don't.
No,
I
it's
use
fine.
the web, so yeah.
All right. So hang on. I can share my screen here. That's
There
fine.
you go. Yeah.
Yep.
So go right here. See on the right, up top, up right, where it says "Fall." It says "Business
Live
Brain."
on
Oh, no,
X.
no. Yeah, live on X. That's it. That's us.
Yeah,
Click in there,
Okay. Yes.
and then say something. That'll show up. Yeah. See, there you go. Right on.
Got it. I see it there. Oh,
Thanks, Chris.
and
Yep.
you were able to even comment on Shannon's post.
Yeah.
Because he I get it now. Okay, so if I
So
go to
there's a
Shannon
separate-
Jean, I want to try this. Hang on. So if
Yeah.
I go here,
I don't think that shows up. If you go in if you comment on the post, it doesn't. But if you
no, if you comment on the post, it doesn't.
no,
But
so you got to go to the live stream. What if you click on that? Does it go?
if I click on this, I just hear it. Like
yeah.
it just
Yeah,
unmutes
yeah.
it, and then it starts getting really weird because I'm hearing myself on a delay, which
Yeah,
always
that's
f's
strange.
me up. Yep.
So you got to go in the live stream broadcast chat.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
My other comment about this is I noticed the longer we talk, the more listeners find us.
Yes.
So it's almost like, we should take 10 minutes or so and chat and let people
At the
join
beginning.
before we start recording.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I don't know if people think
Yeah.
that's
No, this is great.
good or
Thank
not,
you.
so.
Thank you for this, Chris. That's super helpful. Yeah.
perfect. All right, folks. Thanks
sweet.
for listening. So both these episodes, the one with Gabe will come out Wednesday, the 17th, and then the one you just heard, if you want to hear us talk about stuff we did on X or how to grow on X, that'll come out Friday the 19th. And,
Yeah.
great. Reach out
Cool.
if you have questions. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Be glad to help.
Thanks, folks.
Take
Later.
care.